Hello dear viewer, I think I created a monster. This is a build that combines stealth, magic and combat to keep your foes in a state of complete disarray and helplessness. It plays very smoothly and comfortably from the start to the end, since you can basically start as a simple two-handed fighter and then add the elements of magic and stealth whenever you feel like it. You will use the very satisfying synergy of illusion and fire destruction perks and some of the most unique items in the game, all that while keeping a rather dark roleplay of a very angry vigilante. You will deal tons of passive ongoing damage, you will be able to sneak perfectly in heavy armor, and you will be an embodiment of every Nord's nightmares. Sounds like fun to me, so let's get this thing going. Life in Windhelm's Grey Quarter was never the life of your dreams, but it was yours. You grew up with your older brother, who took great care of you, acting more like a father. Actually, he had to fill the role of both of your parents, since they died before you learned how to speak. You've also met your first love here, your brother's friend, a rather romantic fellow with a great many bright plans for your shared future. Things were looking better and better until one night everything changed forever. Your brother and boyfriend were attacked by some drunken Nord. Maybe he didn't want to kill them, maybe he did. Nobody cared. No one cared to find out. Not the guard, not the palace. You were broken and alone. So you did what you had to do. You avenged your loved ones. Now, of course, the city guard started to care. The investigation was started the very moment the lifeless body of your wrongdoer was discovered. You had no choice but to escape Windhelm and seek shelter in the wilderness. The reclamations will be your family now. Mephala and Boethia will guide you on your new path. The path of vengeance. Windhelm will pay. Ulfric, the faithless Jarl, will pay. The Nords will taste the fear they caused. Skyrim will burn. Well, that story was dark. Do we really have to explain why this build is a Dark Elf? Well, other than the roleplay, there is the Ancestor's Wrath power, which will be very useful early on before you can get the Flame Cloak spell. And the starting +10 to Destruction is also very welcomed. The attributes ratio can be a bit tricky with characters such as this one, but I would recommend to focus on your health first. You will mostly use the cheap spells upgraded by perks, Alchemy and Azidal's Dragon Priest Mask. And your weapon, Ebony Blade, is one of the most stamina effective two-handers in the game, and it's also a good idea to use normal attacks with it, because it absorbs health with every hit. And the normal attacks are of course much faster than power attacks. When it comes to the Standing Stone ability, this build doesn't need any subtlety, just take the best stone. It will help you with your lack of magicka-related enchantments and prove very useful against dragons. You will have a nice combo of combat, stealth and magic skills. The heavy armor doesn't really need to be fully perked in order to be very useful to you. In fact, only the right-hand side of the tree is crucial. You will be killing your enemies with the poison cloak from your ebony mail and your alchemy-induced Flame Cloak spell, so some of them will die even before landing a single hit. You don't even need the max armor rating, but you can achieve it quite easily with a bit of Fortify smithing gear. In the two-handed skill tree, take all ranks of the Barbarian perk and then everything in the middle up to the Sweep perk, which is a great improvement for your combat style because you will be able to absorb 30 points of health from 2 or maybe 3 enemies at once. You can also poison your Ebony Blade, and with some perks and alchemy you will be able to spread that poison onto enemies with a single strike. That poison can, for example, have weakness to poison and weakness to fire effects, and you will deal poison and fire damage to everything around you pretty much constantly. You see where this is going, right? This is madness, I tell ya. The illusion perks shown on screen are more than enough to keep the skill relevant throughout the entire playthrough. The right side perks are optional, however the quiet casting perk is worth your consideration, because you will be muffled by your armor and you will obtain the invisibility spell sooner or later anyway. With quiet casting you will be able to disappear into thin air mid-combat and reposition willy-nilly. Cast your Ignite spell at them, disappear again, sneak attack them, disappear again, and so on and so forth. Very, very, very nice indeed. Your Destruction setup, combined with the Aspect of Terror illusion perk and the Yazidol's mask, will give your Flame Cloak at least twice the normal damage and thrice the range. And that's before counting your Fortified Destruction potions and weakness to fire poisons. Well, that's a proper destruction right there. Remember to take the Aspect of Terror before the Intense Flames perk. There are conflicting accounts about whether or not it actually matters, but it is better to stay on the safe side, so I unlocked the Aspect of Terror before taking the Intense Flames perk, but after the Augmented Flames it worked. It worked very, very well. When it comes to sneak skill, the muffled movement will eventually become useless to you, however, you should go there anyway, because both Silent Roll and Silence perks will really flesh out your combat style, letting you move quickly and quietly in any armor, and doing my favorite Silent Roll critical charge combo, which can easily be combined with a sneak attack damage bonus because you're so darn undetectable. You can also just put on your Flame Cloak and happily roll around them, avoiding any hits while inflicting some severe burns. If all that wasn't enough to put fear in the hearts of your enemies, there is alchemy. 3 ranks in the Alchemist perk should give you about 70% Fortified Destruction potions and 40% weakness to fire poisons. That's assuming you will have a proper set of Fortify alchemy items, of course. And there are all the other usual benefits of alchemy, like Paralyze and Slow, so you can burn them all with a bit of ease. And finally, we have the smithing skill, which I deem optional but useful. You may as well try to take just the steel smithing and the arcane blacksmith perks and see what can be done with fortifying your smithing by other means. However, it is much easier and less tedious to just take a proper perk, so I did just that. Your weapon of choice will be the Ebony Blade, given to you by Boethia. I've already said why this weapon is very cool for this build, and the roleplay value is very high here. However, this weapon cannot be upgraded at a forge. This is the main reason for taking all 5 ranks in the Barbarian perk. You should also find the best possible set of fortified two-handed gauntlets and remember about your potions. The Ebony Mail is what really makes this character what it is. The Poison Cloak effect is a very unique enchantment, since it is the only cloak spell, so to say, which can stack with another cloak spell. That means you get another 5 to 10 points of passive ongoing damage on top of your highly improved fire damage. The muffle effect of this armor piece is also invaluable for anyone who would like to be a stealthy character in a full set of heavy armor. And then we have Azidal, which is one of the very few ways to increase your spell damage permanently, and also gives you the maximum fire resistance. And that is very cool, or maybe very hot. Because you will also wear the Azidal's Ring of Arcana. You wear it for your very cheap Ignite spell, which in your case can deal roughly 25 points of damage per second for 15 seconds, and it stacks with itself. And it can be used for crowd control with the Impact perk. And it can be casted from shadows while undetected with the Quiet Casting perk. This is insane. This spell can make a build by itself.
Can't wait to count on your
Speaking of spells, the list of your go-to spells and powers is now displayed on screen. The basic flames will be very useful to you all the way to the late game, since it is very cheap and very much upgraded with your potions and perks. Muffle will help you before you can get your Ebony Mail, and the Secret of Arcana can help you in tight spots when you run low on Magicka. I would also recommend acquiring the Sunflare power whenever you can. With all the perks and potions, I managed to get over 300 points of damage with this thing. Nice panic button, in case you get surrounded. I think I explained everything. I am rather proud of this one, you know. She really is a stealth expert, a warrior and a mage in one person. She deals tons of damage all the time to everyone, and playing through the Civil War questline has never been so much fun. These Stormcloaks die around her before she even gets a chance to actually enter the close combat mode. Fire dragons can be a bit of a challenge. Well, no, wait, scratch that. Not really a challenge, they just take a bit more time to kill. She's so darn powerful, I'd actually recommend to install some difficulty mods, because, well, normal Skyrim isn't quite ready for her. And the roleplay is very satisfying too, so... yay! And, as per usual, if you enjoyed the video, and if you think of trying this build yourself, let me know in the comments. Have a lot of fun, and come back for more Skyrim builds. We will see each other again. Bye bye.